I met a gypsy.
So I want to just go back to that air fork real quick. So for like I haven't really been able to find a bunch on, like, let's say tuning the air fork, because my shit is still stock actually.
Yep.
I got to run cone valves for the race that I did, which was
Yep.
pretty fucking sick. But I couldn't feel my hands, let alone my forks. So wasted experience.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I'm just back on the stock stuff now. When to tune the air fork, when should you put pressure in, and when should you touch clickers?
So the air is your spring,
Yeah,
like, right. Your air is not your dampening.
yeah,
So your spring will position is like, so if you're going down a hill and you're like, man, my bike's so deep in the front and the back's kicking, my first recommendation to you is to add some fork pressure, right? Add some air in the forks to get the front end up, right? So then you're like, okay, that now my position's right, but now it's hard in my hands. That's when you'll go to your clickers and start working on your compression. And then
mm,
if you're coming into a turn and it's hitting a bump and popping in your face, or it's skating, then you'll start, depending on what you want to do, you'll mess with your rebound. But also with that is your rear can affect the front, right? But I think going to the air fork is mainly it's just your spring. Don't overthink it. It's not your dampening. Can act as dampening, like as comfort, but it's what holds you up in the air, right? So
mm,
if you let the air out, the bike's got no pressure. It's like a stink bug, right? It's like it's tied down the back of the truck. Well, as soon as you put pressure on it, it starts lifting it up in the air. So if you were at a sand track per se, and you like are really deep sand, and you're okay, well, you should probably go up on your fork pressure because you want it to hold up and get that balance a little more high in the front, low in the back to keep it stable. If you're riding a harder pack track, which typically most of them are in Australia, you want to run more of a balanced setting. So you want your bike to be very balanced so you can turn it and turn out of the ruts and stay in them. So that's typically when you want to just work on your balance with your fork pressure. So if your balance is good, like you're not low, you're not pushing off the bars, if you're not, um, like feeling it's too tall, if it's not pushing in turns, then your fork pressure is right. Then you can start working with you're like, oh, it's too harsh when I land, and it's getting that mid stroke, and it's harsh in the mid stroke. That's your compression, and then you can start working with your clickers.
and so where would you start? If, like, so would you want to do your air pressure in your forks first, and then that's going to get you the base, and then go to compression? But so
Yep,
where do you
absolutely.
put your compression clickers to do the initial, like, your spring rate essentially?
So like your clickers, I would put them right where they come standard, like right in the middle. So if there's 36 clicks, go 18, right? If there's 24, go 12,
Quick
right? So
maths.
start in the middle. Yep, right in the middle, right? And then you can start tuning. And I go, the KTM clickers are actually very sensitive. You can feel one click actually.
Yeah,
You
right.
can. So what I would do, what I tend to do is, like, if my balance is correct and I'm feeling like it's too soft or too firm, I'll make a big swing, like 3 to 4 clicks, to make sure I'm correct. Right? Like, oh
Mm,
gosh, that was too much. And then I'll taper back too. Right? Like I won't go little. I'll just make a big swing, 3 or 4 clicks. Oh, that's good. It is like those are valid questions. You're not like way off the mark. It's just people use air pressure as dampening
yeah.
and control, but air pressure is just your spring. It just holds you up, right? Like think of your shock spring, right? You'll never loosen or tighten your shock spring to make your dampening, right? Your
No.
shock spring is just your sag. That all your fork pressure. So I don't even check my sag half the time nowadays.